Alright, today's challenge is going to be to get our driving lights working. Now this was it's a 2013 R56 Mini Cooper Hardtop, and it's came equipped with just a little indicator marker lights down in the bumper. They were shot. I replaced them with these cool marker slash driving lights. Got them installed. Now the next thing to do is actually get them connected. And the thing is, this car does not have the wiring to connect the driving lights. So there's a few ways to go about this. I'm lazy and I'm cheap, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to wire the high beam circuit to the driving light circuit. So when the high beams are on, these are on as well. That's going to give me the most light when I need it, so it's all or nothing. And basically, I like that. That way, when I'm driving down the road and I need my high beams, I'm going to have really, really high beams. And when I don't need them, one switch turns them both off. So that's great. You won't be able to do this unless you've converted your main headlights to LED, which I've done. That reduces the amount of current they draw. I'm also converting this from the incandescent bulb that came with it to a high power LED for more output and lower current draw. So both of them together will draw less than the original high beam did. So no extra wiring required other than the wire from up here to down there. Well, let's get started on this thing. Okay, to do this job, I'm going to be using a pair of H11 style bulbs, which plug in handily. These will just be a direct replacement for the ones that are in there. That's going to give me a little more of a pigtail, might actually make it a little bit easier to make the connection. And speaking of connections, since the car doesn't have the wiring, I ordered a pair of connectors. So basically what that does, it's going to allow me to connect this like this. I'm going to attach an extension wire to this and bring it up and connect it to the headlight wiring. And I've already worked that out, so let's take a look at how that works. Alright, I've got my little test set up here. I wanted to make sure I knew the polarity. A lot of these lights will be, they will hook up either direction, no polarity requirement. This is not one of them. You do have to hook it up correctly. I found that the blue silver wire is actually the positive. I have a clamp-on DC ammeter here so I can actually measure the current, which is important. So now I'm hooking up the light. I see it's drawing 2 amps and it's insanely bright. I now have stars in my eyes. Okay, I'm going to use this small twin lead. After all, it's only going to be supplying 2 amps. And if you look closely, if I can get it to focus, you'll see that there are blue dots on one conductor. I'm going to call that the positive, so I can keep my polarity correct. So I just need to add some length to this cable, and so it'll reach up to the headlight. Okay, first step is going to be to get a little more length on these strips. They come kind of pre-stripped, but I like to have a little more to work with. Make sure the better your mechanical connection is before you apply solder, the better your connection is. So let's go ahead and get these stripped back to an appropriate length. Okay, next, twist them to try to keep keep a stray strand of copper from getting loose and causing mischief. Okay, next, I'm going to slide a piece of heat shrink tubing over each of these cables. These being the longer ones to work with, so they'll be more out of harm's way down here. Okay, and this is the blue, so I'm going to twist the blue dot cable together with the blue cable, which kind of makes sense. Obviously, the actual colors do not matter a bit. You can use any color for anything, but might as well keep it easier to remember. Okay, now I've got a good twist connection on both of those. It's time to add solder. Let's get the other harness built. Shrink tubing slid into place. Just apply a little heat from your soldering iron and shrink it down over the wire, and that's a connection you're never ever going to have to worry about. Okay, now there really are three ways to get to this. One is through this access panel. I've already got the you can see I've already got the access panel, the little plastic cap, off, and you can reach in there, and I think I can show you that it's very accessible through there. I can get to that without any real difficulty. Or if you have smallish hands, and mine are just, all these scrapes on the back are from doing this, is to reach in here and you can kind of reach to the back of the light and do what you need to do. Or you can take this out, which is actually the most accessible way. There's actually only 4 bolts that hold the headlight in. The whole thing just pops out. You can do what you need to do, put it back in. It doesn't affect alignment. It's really a good way to go. Just for expediency, I'm going to go through the fender liner, and I'm going to turn the wheels to make it easier. Okay, that's opened up a lot of access. I'm just going to reach in here and more or less by feel, going to grab the existing bulb and pull it out. Okay, there it is. Okay, my next challenge is I'm going to get the connector fed down into that area, into the cavity, and I think the easiest way to do it, keeping in mind there's moving parts here, is to take it, around the headlight here, and I'm going to drop it down beside the headlight through this gap. Okay, piece of cake. Just a little fiddly, but now the trick is I'm going to connect it to the actual bulb and then get it mounted. Okay, make sure you get a nice positive mechanical click, and then reach in and find the mounting position and rotate the bulb into place. And an additional okay, to try to remedy my fit situation, I've installed the thinner gasket from the original H8 incandescent bulb on the base of this LED bulb. You can see it's not a perfect fit. I think I can move it around so it'll probably be consistent. And with any luck, that will let me get it in deep enough to seat. Okay, let's plug in the LED bulb and see if we can get this thing seated. And got to find the notch. Okay, we're in there. Okay, so here's the connector I'm working with. Here's the wire that I pulled up. I want to keep it kind of snug because there are belts and such running not too far from this side. The other side will be a lot more inert. But I'm going to pull it up so it's snug, but not so much that if I disconnect the headlight mechanically and flop it over that it's going to pull the wiring too hard. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra room, and then I'll just route it out of the way here. Let's call it right there, and I'm going to cut, split, and strip these two conductors. And prep them as always by twisting them. Okay, and next I'm going to pull the headlight socket off, the connector. It's going to be just a little bit tight, I can tell here, folks. Okay, and I have determined by taking voltage readings that this yellow-blue wire, this is on the right side, is the high beam positive, and the larger brown wire, which is very typical for German cars, that's the ground. Okay, so I'm really going to have to go in and just strip and connect to this. I pushed the insulation for the wiring harness down a bit, and I'll be able to push it back up. So I'm going to go ahead and make my connections to these two wires down a little bit lower, and then bring the insulation, the existing insulation, up over my solder connections if it'll fit. And I'm not quite sure it will. It's pretty tight, but let's see how this works out. Okay, I've used my crimping tool, my stripping tool, to put a couple, you can see a couple strips, and obviously this is in the middle of the wire, so I can't really move it down. But what I can do is carefully shave away the insulation until I open it up, and I should be able to remove the entire piece of insulation, giving me something to connect to. You can see I probably nicked one of the conductors, which always happens. And then we're going to try this one the same way. Just strip it down, see if we can split it, get it loosened up. And yeah, you could use crimp-on connections or something similar. It'll get the job done. I just don't particularly like them. So there you go. So now we've got connections that we'll be able to work with. Unfortunately, we won't be able to use heat shrink tubing. I wish we could, but nonetheless, this is in a very safe and dry part of the engine compartment. I'm not really worried about it. So let's get the connections made. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, and even though it doesn't matter polarity-wise with an incandescent bulb, I'm going to go ahead and keep my positive positive, my negative negative. Going to solder my connection here. And that should be fine. Then after it's cooled just enough to not be a problem anymore, I go over and wrap my other wire around the negative cable. Okay. Well, I can see right now that my the twin lead I'm using is not really solder rated as far as heat goes, but I don't think that's going to be a real problem. All right, next I'm going to wrap these with a piece of cloth tape, which is pretty much what the automakers actually use in situations like this where they're protecting a connection in an engine compartment. And okay, that should get it done. Slide the connector back into place, and it doesn't look too awful bad altogether. Okay, clearly folks, there is quite a difference between the H8 incandescent, which isn't really known for even being a very bright for an incandescent bulb, and the H11 LED output is just night and day. I mean, it's probably a lot more than it looks like on the video. Definitely bright, but now the trick is, since this is a rotatable element, I'm just going to turn it and see if the pattern gets better or clearer, or looks pretty good there. Okay, I can live with that. And what I will do then, one of my next steps will be go align it on a wall at a distance so I can actually set the height. I'm going to use a photometer to measure the light output in lux. Alright, and to do that I'm just going to get down in the area and look for the sweet spot. And you can see it varies a little bit from area to area. Okay, my real hot spot here, 230 something lux, almost 240, so let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so let's walk over here, get in the path of the LED light, and we're at like 1900, so radical difference. And that's borne out just by looking at the lights. You can really see them. Obviously the color is much better as well. So let me get this one changed out so we can have this thing ready to drive at night. But let's see if we can get this one focused a little bit. Oh, that's definitely it right there. So they're now looking pretty consistent. It's certainly a whole lot brighter. The bottom lights are just a little bit bluer than the actual headlights. Probably the difference between 6000K and 6500K. But I am now fully ready to drive at night. This is going to be a radical transformation from the dim incandescent headlights this had when I bought it.